Alright, let's talk about how to introduce a character. I'd like you all to meet Achilles. This is our protagonist of the film Troy, as played by Brad Pitt. Now, something amazing about this character, something that I really like about this character, is that this scene tells you every single thing that you need to know about him in about 2.5 minutes.
Perhaps you should have a war tomorrow when you're better rested. I should have you whipped for your impudence.
Perhaps you should fight him.
Achilles. Achilles! Look at the men's faces. You can save hundreds of them. You can end this war with a swing of your sword. Let them go home to their wives.
Imagine a king who fights his own battles. Wouldn't that be a sight?
Of all the warlords loved by the gods, I hate him the most.
We almost learn everything we need to know right there. He hates authority, does not respect Agamemnon, but is completely willing to do what he needs to do for the glory and for the recognition, basically. Now, in the scene right before this, they're basically setting up this fight of the two of these armies' best. And Achilles at first isn't even there. But then, when Achilles shows up, they need to hype it up even more by having the guy he's facing hype up his team and get him cheering and going crazy for him. Like some kind of professional wrestler, basically. And all Achilles needs to do is walk. Now, I'll get to everyone's favorite part of this scene, I promise. But I gotta point out that we just learned everything else we need to know about Achilles. He's quick, he's resourceful, and determined. All in 2 spear throws. So another thing that's great about this scene is we get a very satisfying death of a character we pretty much knew nothing about, but we knew we didn't like him. And man, just that one-shot kill tells you the last thing you need to know about Achilles. He is deadly.
Is there no one else? Is there no one else? Who are you, soldier?
Achilles, son of Peleus.
Achilles. I'll remember the name. The ruler of Thessaly carries this scepter. Give it to your king.
He's not my king.
Now for a second, let's talk about setup and payoff. This scene starts out with Achilles riding through his men as they cheer his name. Now, before this scene, we just see Achilles as this man covered in women and really nothing super memorable about his character, except that he is an asshole, basically. But then, we learn more.
Perhaps you should fight him.
We learn he does not respect Agamemnon, his king, but he does respect his own legacy. And, I mean, the scene speaks for itself on the legacy part. Now, one thing they do very well is they make Achilles seem unimpressive. I mean, not that Brad Pitt isn't impressive in this film. I mean, the guy's jacked all the hell and handsome as fuck, you know. But we see this guy he's going against is roughly, I'd say, 7 feet tall. Brad Pitt, not that tall of a guy, looks very tiny to this guy. So you expect this fight could go on and be an amazing sword battle between this big guy and Achilles. But no. The payoff is worth the setup. You see why his men cheer, why he is their army's best, and why we're watching this movie. And man, that's really all you need to say. There are so many great ways to introduce a character, but I gotta say, this is one of the most effective. Now, I know not a lot of people like this movie, and I do see the gripes with it, but when it comes to introducing a character, you gotta talk about epic. And man, this movie gets it right.
Achilles,
I'm Mitch Gibson,
son of Peleus.
and that's what's so great about it.
I'll remember the name.